we really don't have a ton of information to share with you, but the good news is that right about 10:50 this morning, the United States Coast Guard found Justin's skiff a few miles offshore, north of here, and so we're thrilled. You know, there's so much going on in the national media today. I think most Americans are extremely concerned about national events, international events, obviously the Middle East. But we have a good story. We have a story that really could have ended in tragedy, and we could have had such a different outcome. But here's what we know. Yesterday, at about 6 o'clock, Justin put in here at Sanskrit, just down the block from here, and to go fishing. And he normally goes fishing. It's not unusual for him. He's in a 14-foot skiff. He left around noon yesterday, and he did not return. The family has a standing plan that if he doesn't get back by a certain time, and they're expecting him at 7 p.m., that they would call the sheriff's office. They gave him till 8 p.m. when he didn't return. They called us at the sheriff's office. They called the United States Coast Guard and the Florida Freshwater and Game Commission, FWC. And so an intensive search began. We had, from the sheriff's office, we had our ATVs up and down the coast all night. Our helicopters were out. Briefly at 4 o'clock this morning, they came in for refuel and to change crews, but they stayed out until he was finally recovered. And then, of course, we had our Marine Patrol units out in the water. After the family notified us, we stayed on that until he was ultimately located. So the good news is he's fine, and we thought initially that he would be here this morning to talk to you all and share what it was like, but he's pretty beat up. What we think we understand from him, and we're still going through it, is that it was really just the elements. It was the current, the waves, the wind. He just wasn't making headway. We think he still had gas in that engine, so it was just the conditions that kept him from getting back, the current, the wind, and the waves. So that's what we know. If I can answer any questions, I'd be glad to try.
Was he found with his life jacket on?
Was he found with his life jacket on? I don't have that answer. I don't know.
Who spotted him initially?
The
Coast Guard?
Yeah, the question who spotted him initially, the Coast Guard picked him up.
How far out was he when you spotted him?
He was a few miles offshore, so he would have been in trouble. When that Gulf Stream current picked him up, he could have no telling how far he could have gone. He did say he got hit with a pretty big wave, so there was some water in the boat, which would account for him having trouble making headway against the wind and the current.
So he was in the boat, clinging to the boat. He was inside the boat when he was found.
Yeah, the question is, was he inside the boat? Yes, he was inside the boat. He wasn't clinging to the boat. He was there when they rescued him.
So we don't think it was a mechanical problem. It was more just the elements.
Yeah, the question was a mechanical problem. It was more the elements. The answer, yeah, it was the elements. It was the waves, the wind, the current, the fact that there was water in the boat. It's a 14-foot skiff. Difficult to be that far out. Conditions were changing through the night. The wind started picking up, so he found himself in pretty serious trouble.
Almost 24 hours later, did he have any food or water or anything in the boat that can help him?
Yeah, the question is, did he have food or water? I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to turn it over to his sister, Kayla, here in just a minute. She does go fishing with him, so she may be able to shed some light on exactly what provisions he had. Okay, with that, I'll get out of the way, and we'll turn it over to his sister, Kayla Skiff.
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
He did say that he had Powerade and stuff with him. I don't know how much of that was left when they did find him, but he was definitely exhausted when I got to him.
It had to be an emotional roller coaster for you.
It was a really long couple of hours. I didn't leave Sanskrit Park, so I got there about 10 o'clock last night, so I just hung out there the entire time.
What was your reaction when you heard that he was found safely?
I just kind of collapsed, you know. I was a little bit hysterical for a second there, but just relief. Yeah.
A lot of people said he was an experienced fisherman, so you guys initially probably weren't worried he could handle these elements.
Yeah, he's been on a boat since we were kids. 6 years old. Two of us have been out in that boat offshore before, so the conditions were okay during the day, and he's usually in before dark, so we weren't really too concerned until the time passed.
When
so.
you saw him, what condition was he in?
Exhausted, beaten down, and exhausted.
What did he say to you, if anything?
I'm sorry. Don't kill me. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Told me he was going to be okay, and that he was okay.
You never lost hope, did you?
For a second, you know, it was getting a little rough out there, but once I saw that it was daylight and how many people were out there looking for him, that gave me a lot more hope. So I just really wanted to say thank you to the Sheriff's Department, FWC, and the Coast Guard. They never wavered. I mean, they were out there checking on me every 15 minutes all night long. And they kept me updated the entire time. So I just really want to say thank you to everybody who helped bring him home. So, thank you.
A happy ending before you came in.
Yeah, it definitely could have turned out a lot worse, and our entire family is really, really happy and thankful that he is home today. So.
Has anything like this ever happened before with him when he's out?
No, he's always made it back in. That's why, I mean, we gave him that extra hour just, you know, for incidentals, but he's always come back in.
Does he work?
How often does he go out?
As often as he can, at least once a month, sometimes two, if, you know, the stars align with work and conditions.
Does he work on boats? Is he?
Not right now, but he did commercial fish for quite some time.
Any changes from the next time you guys go out fishing?
I hope that boat sinks out there. You know, either way.
Why do you say that?
I don't want to see it again. It's been a stressful 24 hours, so.
Any message to any of the viewers who go out?
Boater safety, you know, I think our plan really was important, the float plan that we have. We tell our mom when we go out, she knows that if we are not back by a certain time, call the Coast Guard, call FWC, call the Sheriff's Department, and just have that plan in place. I think it's really important.
Doesn't have any kids or
He is a brother, he's a son, he is a loving uncle to my 3 children who would have been lost without him. So, and he does have a daughter back home in New Jersey, so.
what were your kids through this? Did they know?
No.
Okay.
No.
And their relationship was pretty close. And
Thick as thieves. Yeah. Yeah.
He's the cool uncle. In
He is, yeah. So,
what's his next step?
I don't know.
recovery and-
I don't know. Hopefully, sleep, water, and some food. That's all we can hope for right now.